Former Notre Dame general manager Chad Bowden has gone from a huge asset to the Irish program to one of their hated rivals. Let's talk about the resurgence of USC recruiting and how Notre Dame needs to get back at Chad Bowden. Ryan Roberts from A to Z Sports breaking down everything Notre Dame football. Folks, it might be the offseason, but there's always a lot to talk about in the wonderful world of Notre Dame football. Want to talk about Chad Bowden, his early impact with the USC Trojans, and how it's already hurting Notre Dame a little bit. But I actually think this could be a very interesting storyline in the end. So stay with me for a minute and let's talk about what USC has done recently that has hurt Notre Dame. We saw over the last week a huge commitment for the USC Trojans in 2026 defensive lineman Samote Ketawanga, who is out of the state of California, a player that Notre Dame was on for a very long time, top 100 player. There was even rumors that he was once, at some point, silently committed to the Notre Dame team. Now, when Chad Bowden left Notre Dame to take the general manager position, at USC, that relationship, I think, was instrumental with being able to develop it quickly with Ketawanga. And also Ketawanga was always already very familiar with the USC program, he being a California guy. And Chad Bowden was able to kind of flip the script on Notre Dame a little bit. And that relationship with him, Dre Brown also took over from, he was the DPP, Director of Player Personnel with the Illini, but formerly of Notre Dame as well. Zaire Turner was from the Notre Dame staff as well. So a lot of relationships with Ketawanga, which I think was the big reason that they were able to escalate this thing, along with, obviously their pitch, to get him to eventually commit to the Trojans. Big loss for Notre Dame. No doubt about it. Notre Dame still has a good defensive line board, but they are now pressed to finish with the top targets on the board even more now that there's one less on there. Also, there was a recent official prediction put in from On3 Vice President of Recruiting, Steve Woltfong. He put in a prediction for USC to land Trey Mosley, who is a 2026 wide receiver, actually a teammate now of Ketawanga, who transferred from J. Sarah Catholic this offseason. He, of course, is the son of former Notre Dame wide receiver Emmett Mosley. And if anybody followed the 2024 class, Emmett Mosley's son, also of the same name, eventually chose Stanford. Notre Dame liked him quite a bit. So Notre Dame now 0 for 2 on the Mosley brothers, trying to get him to come as a double legacy to play for Notre Dame. It appears trending very quickly to USC, and barring anything last second, it appears that he will be eventually in the Trojan class. So now, Chad Bowden, quickly, top defensive line on the board for Notre Dame, one of the top wide receiver boards on Notre Dame, now going over to USC. Other players we're going to continue to talk about, obviously, moving forward here. We've also seen a reaffirmation of his commitment over from Brandon Lockhart over the last couple months as well. He was a player that Notre Dame had been recruiting for a while, actually took a visit to Notre Dame despite being committed for a long time now to USC. So USC is trending upward under Chad Bowden, which isn't overly surprising because, as I mentioned before, I think he's very good at his job from the recruiting perspective. Now, this is called healthy competition for me. I know some people are out there going to be, this stinks, Chad Bowden's killing us, USC is trending upward. True, fellas, true. And I wouldn't disagree with that fact. But I think that this is great for college football because one of the things that I'm worried about in this NIL, conference realignment space is that we're going to lose what's great about college football, and that is the traditions, but that is bigger than that is the rivalries. USC is always going to be Notre Dame's rival. They always are because they're going to play every year. Both fan bases hate each other. But this little extra layer of Chad Bowden now versus Marcus Freeman on the recruiting trail, I think it's going to be super interesting moving forward. So yes, it stinks in the short term, but long term now, I'm excited to see Mike Martin, Marcus Freeman get up now and say, all right, Chad, you want to play this game? Let's play. Folks, we will be breaking down everything Notre Dame football for the rest of the offseason. NFL draft, spring practice, getting you ready for the 2025 season. Make sure you're going to A to Z Sports. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and then as always, go Irish.